Welcome to the Mediabox, here to talk about a special ceremony in solidarity with political prisoners in the wake of the jailing of Russian opposition activist Vladimir Kara-Murza for 25 years. We can speak first of all to PACE President Tiny Kox. What kind of message were you looking to send out today?
I think the message that we sent out today in the presence of Evgenia, the wife of Vladimir Kara-Murza, that this organization, this Council of Europe, this Parliamentary Assembly stands completely behind Vladimir Kara-Murza, the winner of the Václav Havel Human Rights Prize last year, and behind Evgenia and her family in making it clear that this verdict, so-called verdict, to a person, a brave person that only speaks out for the truth, to convince such a person to 25 years is completely out of reality. And whatever they think, the authorities think in Russia, they have to be aware that Europe is not behind them, but it's behind Vladimir Kara-Murza, Evgenia Kara Murza, and all these political prisoners that are now put away in prison because they speak out like Vladimir for the truth.
Evgenia, it's just been a week. I have to ask you about your reaction to this latest unfortunate development in Vladimir's story, that 25-year sentence.
Well, first of all, I would like to say how deeply grateful I am for all the support and solidarity that I've seen demonstrated by the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe over the last year, and all the help and support that my husband has been getting for years from this organization. So being here is, I know that I am among friends and in a safe place, and that warms my heart. As to your question, well, I did not have any illusions. I knew where this was all going. I knew it the moment I realized that there were 3 people under Magnitsky sanctions in the case against my husband, who's been fighting for the introduction of those sanctions for years. I realized it when I understood that one of those people under the Magnitsky sanctions will actually be trying my husband. He was a judge in the trial against my husband. A person who's been personally affected by these sanctions was trying someone who's been, fighting for their introduction. So there are absolutely no illusions. I did not have any illusions, and I don't have any illusions with regard to the appeal that will, of course, be submitted by Vladimir's lawyer in Moscow. But I think that the outcome of that appeal is clear right now. It's already obvious. It's still a shock because I understand how quickly the situation develops in Russia. And I understand that this regime, Vladimir Putin's government, completely identifies itself with the entire country. It completely identifies its interests to the interests of the entire country. And to them, of course, any narrative that opposes the official narrative, any opposition to that is seen as treason, because this is how they're trying to portray anyone who stands against the war and against Vladimir Putin's policies, domestic policies. They are trying to portray them as traitors, as spies, foreign agents, or criminals. So no surprise there about this sentence. And also, I think, and it's maybe I'm trying to be slightly positive about it. I'm trying to find something positive about it. But I think that by imposing such a draconian, absolutely absurd sentence of a quarter of a century, I think the authorities basically publicly recognize the effectiveness of Vladimir's work. They need to put him in prison for 25 years to prevent him from continuing his work, because they've seen over the years that he would not be stopped, that he would continue pushing and pushing and pushing despite everything. And so they decided that they just need to lock him up for a quarter of a century. But at the same time, I would say that they're overly optimistic. I mean, they truly think that they're still going to be here in 25 years. I refuse to believe that. And if anything depends on me, I will put my small nail in the coffin of this regime, and I will put it deep. And I know that one nail, not mine, someone else's, but one nail will prove to be the last one, and it will all collapse.
Evgenia Kara Murza, thank you very much for talking to us. No, thanks to Tiny Kox as well. My pleasure.
Thank you.